Okay. I know this video has been made so many times, and I've received a couple messages on Twitter when I questioned whether I should make it or not, saying that this video was like oversaturated and done so many times, so that I shouldn't do it. But I am a big believer in when there are more people that speak out, the addressees of messages get it, like they hear it. And so I want to be vocal on this as well. So please hang in there Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and be vocal too, but in a constructive way, please. For those that don't know me, I'm Shez. I have played Destiny since its early days back on PlayStation. I'm a major fan of the series, always have and always will be. It has an amazing world and the story is amazing when you see it. And yeah, I do love the game, and that's why I'm making this video as hope, like, for constructive criticism. So yeah, here's an input on my current view on the state of Destiny. Just so you all know, this video is going to be scripted, because I do have a tendency to ramble quite a bit, and having a script will help me stay on track. So yeah. So I'm seeing a lot more posts on Twitter giving rather negative feedback to Bungie regarding its current state. I can understand the frustrations and the sadness that the game they once loved is not the game that it once was. And it's fair to feel that way. And it's fair to also feel the need to give this feedback to the creators of the game. But my main issue is that it's not all constructive criticism. I see a lot of bullying of the employees, and that's just not on. They are people, and sometimes they're being bullied for areas that they don't even work on. Like, artists are getting bullied for programming stuff, and likewise, I haven't seen the other way around, but you know, it's just not on, and yeah, it's not the way to fix the issues and be heard properly. With that being said though, Destiny 2 isn't enjoyable at the moment. I'm not enjoying it. It feels like it's in the worst place it's ever been. Yes, there's a constant string of content coming out in the forms of gated seasons and stories. And it is fun sitting on the edge of your seat, like thinking, oh, what's going to come out next week in the story? Like, you're waiting for that next part. And it's not necessarily the issue. I quite like the gated season, and that like everything's coming out gradually and slowly. It helps build up their anticipation to the end. But yeah, again, that's not the issue. I feel like it's Destiny's replayability at the moment, which is poor. I find that a lot of people are just jumping in for the half hour of the week to do this weekly story and then waiting for the next part the next week, and so on. Part of it I have is with the seasonal activities, well, with the seasonal quests and stuff, is when you're forced to play playlist activities, and that they're at the point that they've lost that replayability. Replayability is the main issue that I have with Destiny, and in Season of the Plunder it was more bearable because we were introduced to new activities like Catch, Crash and Expeditions, which were fine, so it was more bearable. I realised that replayability was one of the major issues when Festival of Lost came about. One of the stronger ways to earn the candies needed in order to get those pages was to play Crucible and do playlist strikes. I absolutely loathed having to play them, to the point where I'd almost quit getting the seal. And for those that know me, I'm a seal collector and almost have nearly all the seals at the moment. It had me thinking, like, what on earth has changed between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2? Like, I would religiously play Destiny 1 back in the day. Like, when I got up before school, I'd play a couple games of Crucible before I had to go, and when I got home, the first thing I did was get changed out of my uniform and jump straight onto the PlayStation. to like play Crucible with my friends. Like, what has changed? And I couldn't necessarily pinpoint it. And when I asked members of my council, or like my online group of friends, there was a response from Ryan, or Poke, who is commonly in my content. And he put it in a way that made me sit back and think, wow, that's a really good way to put it. And they said playing Destiny 2 is like playing Minecraft in peaceful mode. While you can farm and grind for the netherite armor in the nether, yeah, okay. What is really the point when there is nothing to use them on? Power meant something in Destiny 1. It had the hard stuff that was worth the grind, that required the power in order to get the really cool looking equipment, and that the large final level to stand out against others. Destiny 2 is very easy. Its only challenge is dying quickly because of champions and the small pool of ads that accompany it. This was a great way to summarize the way that I felt towards the gameplay in Destiny. Strikes was boring, as it was just moving and shoot. There was no difficulty, finding strategies and guns that will help keep you alive. One thing that cheats making this whole situation easier is abilities, which is one of the next big issues I wanted to cover. It takes away the needs to find cover, to find the best build in order to defeat the boss, which also fits in with the problems of health gating, and so on. While I get that there are weapons to melt the boss's health real fast, I feel like health gating is a rather boring, and a different approach needs to be taken in order to get make the boss fights last. One thing I do miss, and I saw iFrostbolt post on Twitter earlier today about this, is I miss the joy of searching for that right strat and to help you one phase the boss, and the power you felt when you got there. And I know this isn't like necessarily the intention, and that the focus would be to make boss fights last longer than more like 5-10 minutes. But these little things just make the game fun when you're able to find that one thing that works, and like just how powerful you feel in that moment. Ability spam is another thing that makes me feel really repulsed when it comes to Crucible in Destiny 2. There is nothing like being on the receiving end of a hard gunfight only to have the enemy throw a nade and end that fight in an instant. While it's a standard gunfight and it is fair, you're only expected to happen maybe once or twice a game, but now it feels like it's constant. It's also very almost automatic to throw grenades at every corner to hope you catch that camper that's around there, and then knowing it'll recharge in time to throw at the next corner that you approach. I feel that reducing damage duration may be a fix, but I do understand that issues are larger in terms of implementing fixes and making balance in order for them to have more of an effect. I understand that PvP isn't the focus of Destiny, but I do feel like there needs to be some care, as it's the activity that people return to once their PvE needs are met. I remember finishing up my weeklies and dailies back in the day, and looking forward to spending the rest of my time in Crucible until I was would retire for the day. And yeah, it was fun to be just spending with friends, and it could even go in alone and enjoy it. While I am talking about it, something I'd like to, one thing I've thought of since the release of Destiny 2 is that I feel like the time to kill is slightly longer, and I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think having a faster time to kill would make it more fun as well. Yeah, and it makes clip collecting a whole lot more fun as well. Like, I'm a casual player, I don't play hardcore, and I still go for clips. I think it's fun, and I think I missed that sort of faster time to kill. It could just be me. There may not even be a faster time to like TTK, but yeah, that's something I sort of was thinking about that, and the way that special acts, I love that, like, you could one-shot a super with a sniper if you hit them, like, in the crit. I miss that enjoyability of Crucible, and I'm not even like a Crucible-based content creator. If it's sad for me, like, I can only imagine how the Crucible-based content creators are feeling. Yeah. I was talking with my friends regarding this issue, and we are very much all felt in the same boat. And Ollie, or Helderham, who's also in a lot of my videos, as you would know, shared with me a video that Sweatsicle had made, sharing the same sort of concern for the game and its health at the moment. One thing I found rather shocking was that early on in his video, he brought to attention that Bungie had proudly stated that over 5 million new Guardians had joined the game at the I think it was the Lightfall or Witch Queen, I can't remember which one, but they announced it in the showcase. But yet he looked over the average number of players that continue coming back to the game, and it was at a shocking low of 30,000 players. 30,000 compared to 5 million. While I get that having over 5 million players is an amazing number to achieve, and good on Bungie for doing that, like, I won't discredit that, that is amazing. I feel that comparing that to your average players, it really does point out that there are issues with the game. The focus that Bungie should have right now is not so much attracting the new players, but that they have done. Like, that they've done an amazing job. They can attract new players, and we can see that. It uses it if you can't get them to come back and stay. I think in all, there needs to be a shift from how do we bring in new players to how do we how do we bring new players in to how do we bring players back to play tomorrow. I think that should be the focus that Bungie should have on their game at the moment. I am worried about Destiny 2. I miss playing it religiously and looking forward to knocking off work to go play the game. I do hope that Lightfall brings the changes needed for the game and that everyone starts enjoying the game again. And yeah, that's sort of just some of my concern for the game. I hope it has some sort of insight. I do love Bungie, and I do think they're doing an amazing job with some of the content they're producing, but a lot of work does need to be done in order to sort of cater for everyone, and again sort of shift back to the players that do love the game and do want to come back, because it is hard for all of us when we feel like we're being ignored. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I know this isn't necessarily the content you want to see. You'd want to see gameplay, reacting to videos and stuff, but I feel like more people need to speak up if they want the changes they need in the game. And I hope this provides some insight for some of the employees that may see this. And yeah, keep being lovely. Don't harass people who are just trying to do their job. And yeah, I'll see you guys all next week for the next season. Bye!